Just a beautiful Sunday afternoon for baseball in downtown Phoenix. Clear and comfortable at the ballpark. A little too cozy, though, for the Colorado Rockies. They've won the first two games of this series. So the D-backs turn to Shelby Miller, looking for the first win this season for Shelby to get their first win in this series before a long road trip. It's Arizona Diamondbacks baseball, brought to you by Sanderson Ford. And good afternoon from Chase Field. Welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthiaume, Bob Brenly along the way. This is it, the series finale. The D-backs and the Colorado Rockies. Diamondbacks trying to get a W on the board before heading out on a three-city road trip. And Bob, they'll look to Shelby Miller to get his first win this year.
Yeah, hopefully Shelby Miller have a little bit of a flashback. When he was pitching for the Cardinals back in 2013 in 9-inning, one-hit, 13 strikeout performance against the Colorado Rockies. The one hit was by their first base coach, Eric Young. After that, he retired 27 in a row. He looked much better last time out, made one mistake. Unfortunately, it got hit out of the ballpark. Out
there working with pitching coach Mike Butcher. So you think the last time out against the Cardinals, a lot of positives there for Shelby?
Well, you'd like to think so. I mean, it looked like his command was much better. His mechanics appeared to be much better. There was no sign of scraping knuckles on the mound or anything like that.
Now he's got Chris Herman catching him this afternoon. Chris is homered his last two starts.
Yeah, back-to-back starts with a home run, and above and beyond that, in his 7 starts behind the plate, the pitcher's ERA for the D-backs is 2.81. Not sure how much of an effect Chris had on that, but you certainly like that number.
So a Shelby Miller, Chris Herman battery, the D-backs and the Rockies. First pitches coming up on Fox Sports Arizona. D-backs baseball. Arizona Diamondbacks baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by CenturyLink. Switch to CenturyLink Prism TV for an advanced TV experience. Learn more at cprismtv.com. By Jack in the Box. Taste the all-new Double Jack Burger today, only at Jack in the Box. By T-Mobile. Get major league coverage. T-Mobile has doubled its 4G LTE in the last year. And by your Valley Honda dealers, where you get more standard features for less money. Arizona Diamondbacks baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by Chaz Roberts Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Choose Chaz. By Lone Butte Casino. You're in for more winning moments at Lone Butte Casino. By Oregano's. Step up to the plate for a guaranteed home run pizza at Oregano's. Locations statewide. And by Cox Gigablast. How will you live the gig life? Just a beautiful Sunday afternoon for baseball, the Diamondbacks and the Rockies. But first, we pause to honor America. Here now, the voice of Chase Field, Mr. Chuck Drago.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise and please remove your hats. Please direct your attention to the field as we honor the United States of America and pay tribute to our veterans, active duty, and retired men and women of our armed services. Presenting our nation's colors today is the U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary Division 10 Flotilla 10-7 Honor Team under the leadership of Rick Herrick. The Arizona Diamondbacks and the Colorado Rockies invite you to join in the singing of the Star-Spangled Banner, performed by students from Basis Schools Mesa. They are directed by Kalen Che and will be signing as well as singing our national anthem.
Sun is shining clear and comfortable. We are open for business. D-backs baseball. Steve Berthune, Bob Brenly, J.R. Cardenas along the way. The Diamondbacks And Walt Weiss's Colorado Rockies. Last time the Rockies swept a series here at Chase Field was July of 2004, which I believe was the start and then soon after the finish of the Al Pedrique era here in Phoenix.
Yeah, none of my fingerprints on that one.
What about the Rockies lineup? Do you have any input there?
No, Walt Weiss handled that very well through the first two games of this series, and here's how he's going to line them up this afternoon. Charlie Blackmon in center field. Trevor Story, that guy at shortstop, having another big series against the D-backs. He'll be at shortstop. Carlos Gonzalez in right. Nolan Arenado at third. Former D-back Gerardo Parra out in left field with DJ LeMahieu at second. Ben Paulson starting at first base today. Tony Walters behind the plate, and right-hander Chad Bettis on the mound.
Your Arizona Ford starting pitcher for the Diamondbacks, right-hander Shelby Miller, still looking for his first win with the D-backs. Some progress last time out Tuesday against St. Louis, but still trying to find that command. 15 walks in just under 20 innings.
Yeah, you really have to cut down on the walks against this Rockies ball club. They're not a very patient team, but you certainly don't want to put anybody on base ahead of some of those thumpers in the middle.
Jordan Baker is our plate umpire. Could not ask for a nicer day to be at the ballpark here in downtown Phoenix. Simply spectacular. Charlie Blackmon leads it off, and here we go. The Diamondbacks and the Rockies. The finale of a 3-game set. And there's the strike, 0-1. Blackmon, 250, still looking for his first homer after spending some time on the DL with a turf toe injury in his left foot. Diamondbacks wearing their red alternate jerseys today with a solid black A cap. Strike 2 on Blackmon, who has 4 singles and a walk in the series.
Well, we were talking about Charlie Blackmon earlier today, and I think a lot of people outside of the National League West aren't real familiar with this guy and what a good player he is. His solid defense out in center. He's a guy that can steal bases. He hit home runs. He hits for average. Pesky leadoff hitter. Sees a lot of pitches.
Yeah, he swiped 43 bags last year. Hit 17 home runs in the leadoff spot. He's worked it full on Blackmon, who opened up the ball game. 3-2.
And here we go. 6 pitches already this at bat. He has a propensity for fouling off those 2-strike pitches and staying alive, trying to give that opposing pitcher an opportunity to make a mistake.
Blackmon last year, career highs in runs, hits, doubles, triples, walks, stolen bases. And he drives this one to deep center field. It backs up Chris Owings underneath the home run porch out there, but CO runs it down for a loud out number 1. Our Eye on Defense brought to you by Nationwide Vision Center.
Another nice job by Chris Owings on that overhang. Unfortunately, he's had too much practice at it. He'll be out in center. Tomas in left. Peralta in right field. It'll be Drury and Ahmed on the left side of the infield. Goslin and Goldschmidt on the right side today, with Chris Herman doing the catching for right-hander Shelby Miller.
Well, Trevor Story, as Walt Weiss said last night, the kid keeps doing it. 261, tied with Nolan Arenado for the Major League home run lead. He also leads the National League in strikeouts. And one of Story's home runs came here at Chase Field off Shelby Miller in the second game of the year. To second. Phil Gosselin's over there today. 2 down. Boy, it'd be nice for Shelby to get a nice, quick, easy 1-2-3 first. That will go a long way to letting him settle in out there today, I imagine.
Yeah, no question about it. He has yet to allow a run in the first inning of any of his starts this year. He's run into some trouble after that, but boy, a quick 1-2-3 and get your team up there swinging the bats would be a huge boost.
Carlos Gonzalez, and the shift is on for Cargo. Strike one. Gonzalez hitting .330. He's got 4 homers. He sat out Friday's series opener, but was on base 4 times last night. Had 3 singles and a walk. Waves at that one. Shelby's ahead 0-2. Seems like, Bob, in his last start against the Cardinals, he sort of backed off on the velocity. Wasn't overthrowing, just sort of eased into it. Focus more on location than just trying to overpower guys.
Well, there may be situations like that right there. 0-2, you want to just airmail one up in the zone to change the eye level. Yeah, then you let it go a little bit. But I think Shelby Miller is much more effective when, as you mentioned, he just throttles back a little bit, keeps a little more fastball in his back pocket, and focuses more on command.
Yeah, seemed to go to the cut fastball more often against St. Louis and pitch a bit more under control. Went 5 innings against the Cardinals. 5 runs, 5 hits. He walked 4 and struck out 6. 1-2 on Cargo. Fouls that one off. That's the thing about this Rockies lineup. I mean, you are knee deep into it as soon as they come up. Blackman, Story, Cargo, Arenado, Parra, LeMahieu. I mean, right out of the gate, they just come at you in waves.
The high leverage starts right after the anthem.
Yeah, it sure does. 2-2. Time granted by Jordan Baker back there. That's chopped foul. Trying to get a 1-2-3 first. Good crowd here on a gorgeous day at the ballpark.
Boy, this is the way baseball was meant to be.
Oh, isn't it?
Under the sunshine.
Just bottle this one up today. Another 2-2. That's in the seats.
A lot of players feel just as comfortable, some even more comfortable playing under the lights, but I always felt you could see so much better under the sunlight. Pick up the rotation on the ball better.
Missed with that one. Change up mid-80s. It's a full count, 3-2. Arenado's on deck. 9th pitch of the at-bat coming up. Missed up and away. A 2-out walk, and that'll bring up Nolan Arenado. As Gonzalez wins the battle there.
Number 28, Nolan Arenado.
I was watching Nolan Arenado in that on-deck circle. He looked like a kid standing at the top of the steps on Christmas morning. He just couldn't wait to run up to that batter's box.
297, tied with Trevor Story for the Major League Home Run Lead. That seems to be the way he approaches most of his at-bats, as we've talked about. He is a very aggressive swinger up there. 3 hits in this series, including a home run Friday off Robbie Ray. And he takes a big cut at the first one. Fly ball left center. Yasmani Tomas will give way to Chris Owings, and Shelby Miller works around the 2-out walk. Beautiful day at the ballpark. Diamondbacks coming up. The forward starting pitcher for the Rockies, it's the right-hander Chad Bettis, who's done a pretty good job with Colorado this year. 2-1, a 3.77 ERA, and he's been able to pitch deep into ball games. He's gone at least 6 full innings in each of his last 4 starts.
Like a lot of the Rockies pitchers, they'll feature a couple different fastballs, a cutter, a sinker, throws a curve, throws a changeup. He's effective when he's down in the zone.
Phil Gosselin in there at second base this afternoon will lead it off. Phil hitting .276 with a home run. And Chip Hale, true to his word, has tried to get Phil at least 1 start a week minimum just to keep his bat fresh. Such a key bat off the bench here. You got to get him in there for 4 or 5 at bats in an afternoon, at least once a week or so. Did you find that to be the case when you were managing? You got to get guys like Phil Gosselin, who are such a valuable guy on that bench there. You got to get him in there from time to time.
Yeah, you know, we talked about it many times before. If you expect those guys to come up in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning of a ball game and get you a big pinch hit,
lifts it out to Gerardo Parra. 1 away.
You need to have some at bats leading up to that. Just a sense of their rhythm and timing at the plate.
Well, today ends a stretch of 20 games in a row for the Diamondbacks, their longest stretch of games without an off day this season. Here's the lineup today.
Seeing Gosselin at the top playing second base, Brandon Drury at third base, Paul Goldschmidt at first, David Peralta out in right field with Yasmani Tomas in left, Chris Herman doing the catching, Chris Owings, a couple nice plays already in center field, Nick Ahmed at shortstop, and Shelby Miller on the mound.
Brandon Drury, he has homered in 3 of his last 4 games, and he looks at ball 1. 294 now, 4 homers. Boy, did he hit a moonshot here last night.
I'd like to see him hit that same ball today. Might get a little more distance. He really smoked it.
Might hit it through the outfield panel. Here it is last night. Watch this thing go.
95-mile-per-hour fastball down and in, maybe off the plate inside, and Drury was so quick to get the barrel on it. That thing just shot out of here to left field.
2-2. More than half of Brandon's hits this season have gone for extra bases. His slugging percentage is about .590. He gets another one up in the air. Parra at the track, at the wall, and he has not got it. It's gone. Brandon Drury. There's another home run. That's 4 in 5 games, number 5 on the year, and it's 1-0 Diamondbacks. He just got enough of it.
Another towering fly ball to left field by Brandon Drury. He's doing his best Trevor Story impersonation here lately. Cement mixer cutter right there, just never really took much break, stayed right there on the inside part of the plate, and Brandon Drury rarely misses those pitches.
Now, was it fan interference? Here comes Walt Weiss to have a discussion with Jordan Baker. Right there. I don't think he reached over the fence. And the headsets are going to go on here. This is a boundary call. Fan interference, home runs, and they are subject to review.
The call was initiated with the umpire through challenge.
I don't believe this is a Rockies challenge. They can request that the umpires look at it, but they don't need to use a challenge, and it is indeed an umpire review. Which makes sense. Anything close, the system is in place, you might as well use it, right?
Yeah, just at least on first look, it's not even controversial. This ball is well over the wall out there in left.
And it is gone. So 5 homers for Brandon Drury, and it's 1-0 Diamondbacks. A good start here against Chad Bettis, just out of the reach of Gerardo Parra. Well, that was hit way up high in the air, just like his ball last night. That's a jumbo jack. Paul Goldschmidt, 247 and 6 home runs. One of those home runs came off Chad Bettis here in the second game this year. Goldie got him in the first inning. And it looked a little something like this.
Looked a lot like this. Ooh, that sound. Way up there on the home run porch in right center.
A ball and 2 strikes on Goldie, who had a pair of singles last night. Leading the major leagues in walks. This year he has the same number of walks as he does strikeouts. But he's got more walks and strikeouts than he does hits. He's not gotten a lot to hit lately. Full count, 3-2. It's amazing, Bob, how over the first month of the year there have been different batters at different times that have, in a sense, carried the offense. Very early, it was often Nick Ahmed. And then for a while, especially on the last road trip, it was Jake Lamb. And now on this homestand, it's been Brandon Drury.
Yeah, ideally, you get 2 or 3 guys that are carrying the load. That means you're going to be scoring a lot of runs. But at worst, you need to have that one guy that's swinging the bat well. Right now, Brandon Drury is the guy that's hauling the weight.
Hard to second, right to LeMahieu from the outfield cross, and he throws out Goldie 2 down. Our eye on defense for the Rockies, brought to you by Nationwide Vision Centers.
A couple of small changes for Walt Weiss today. Same outfield we've seen: Gerardo Parra, Charlie Blackmon, and Carlos Gonzalez left to right. Nolan Arenado, Trevor Story once again on the left side of the infield. DJ LeMahieu at second. Ben Paulson getting the start at first base. Tony Walters also getting the nod behind the plate today, catching right-hander Chad Bettis.
A quiet series for David Peralta. 1 base hit, he singled Friday, and he takes strike 1. And that has been David's only base hit since his 6-game hitting streak ended. He's at 255 on the year. Rockies overload the right-hand side against Peralta. Trevor Story, the shortstop, right behind the second base bag, and as they always do, Arenado's all by himself. He's got the entire The left side of the field covered Nolan Arenado. DJ LeMahieu, the second baseman, on the outfield grass. 1-2 on Peralta. And he struck him out. But Brandon Drury is at it again. That's 4 homers in 5 games. This is number 5 on the year. And he just got enough of it to get it out of here and make it 1-0 Diamondbacks. Time for your Valley Honda key to the game. What do you got?
Well, you take a look at the itinerary today. The team traveling to Miami right after the ball game, and it's listed as a 4-hour flight. But after a win, it'll feel like about a 2-hour flight. If you happen to drop this one, it'll feel like a 6-hour flight. So let's make it a short flight.
Marlins, who've been red hot lately, losing in Milwaukee right now. They're down 11-5 to the Brewers in the 6th inning. Gerardo Parra, the former Diamondback, leads off the Colorado second against Shelby Miller, who's got a 1-0 lead. Parra, 287. He's homered twice. 3 hits and 3 RBIs in the series, including a couple of doubles on Friday night. One and one. Shelby Miller, a fly ball and a ground ball, his first 2 batters. He walked Gonzalez after a long battle on a 3-2 pitch and then got Arenado to fly out to end the first. That's in the seats, and it's 1-2. And Chip Hale said last week the problem with Shelby is that he's exposing the bullpen too much, and that has to improve. So hopefully he can continue getting deeper into the ball games after he went 5 in his previous start. He has thrown 6 innings in a start, only once all year. That was against these Rockies in Game 2 this season. But that's been a recurrent theme for every starting pitcher out there. Got to get deeper into these ball games.
Yeah, and the foul balls aren't helping anything. It's always been an issue for Robbie Ray, but we've seen it bite a lot of the D-back starting pitchers so far in the early going this season. Get to that 2-strike count and just can't put them away when the next couple of pitches, and before you know it, you're back to a full count, a couple more foul balls, and pitch count gets highly elevated early in the game.
Just missed there. It's 2-2. We saw Zach Greinke, who went 7 full innings last night. 105 pitches for Zach. 2 runs, 8 hits. He walked 2, struck out 8. 2-2 on Gerardo Parra. Phil Gosselin at second. Another ground ball out for Shelby, one down.
Shelby Miller's kind of a unique pitcher out there. When he keeps the ball down, he has some movement, he gets some ground balls, but his most effective fastball might be that high four-seamer up above the top of the strike zone. Not in the strike zone, up there at the top around the letters, maybe even a little bit higher. Very tough to lay off of, gets a lot of swings and misses on that pitch.
That pitch seems to come up and in and ride in on the hands of right-hand hitters. Just really nasty, and oftentimes it's coming in there 96, 97. DJ LeMahieu now.
I think in baseball, we're all so conditioned. Keep the ball down, keep the ball down. But sometimes a guy's stuff translates better if he pitches up in the zone. I think about Jim Deshaies, the left-hander that pitched for a long time for the Houston Astros, now broadcast game for the Cubs, as that one's grounded to short. Should be no trouble. Now, Jimmy Deshaies, he threw in the mid-80s. But he threw his fastball up above the letters, and guys would hack at it all day long. Very rarely made solid contact. A lot of foul balls, a lot of strikeouts, a lot of pop-ups. If he tried to throw that 84-mile-an-hour fastball in the strike zone, he probably would have got waffled.
Ben Paulson getting the start at first base. Waffle doesn't sound good.
No, waffled is a bad baseball term for a pitcher. I got waffled last time.
326 and a home run for Paulson. Big left-hand hitter, 6'4". Shift is on for the Diamondbacks. Well, that Shelby Miller, Bob, I thought the only time we've seen that, the guy you were describing, with that rising hard 96, 97-mile-an-hour fastball, was the first inning he pitched at San Diego. That's the guy that I saw that the Diamondbacks traded for, with really coming in hard with that velocity. And then, of course, he scraped his finger, and that whole thing started again. But we've seen that in little glimpses here so far this year. He is keeping it on the ground here today. 3 ground ball outs. He's retired 4 in a row and leads it 1-0.
One to nothing on the strength of Brandon Drury's home run into the left field bleacher. He jacked it, and you know what that means, fans. A D-backs home run today means a free jumbo jack tomorrow at participating Jack-in-the-Box locations with the purchase of a large drink.
Yasmani Tomas El Tanque leads off the second for the Diamondbacks. Tomas, Herman Owings 5, 6, and 7 against right-hander Chad Bettis. And Yasmani in there with 5 homers on the year, a 276 hitter. A single and a pair of walks in the series so far. Got to be encouraged by that second inning, Bob, that we just saw from Shelby Miller. 3 ground ball outs.
Boy, the phrase of the day for this series has been weak contact. If you can get weak contact against this Rockies offense, because they're going to swing the bats. They're going to put the ball in play. You just hope it's in play weakly.
Now Osmani dumps it into right field. A leadoff single. Second hit for the Diamondbacks against Bettis. And that brings up Chris Herman.
Number 10, Chris Herman.
Horrible pitch from Chad Bettis out there on the outside part of the plate, and Tomas stays right on it, drives it out to Cargo in right field.
Chris Herman getting the start behind the plate today. He has homered in each of his last 2 starts with 6 RBIs. This was the scoop shot, as Brandon Webb called it, Thursday against the Cardinals.
Oh, it looked like Kirk Gibson against Dennis Eckersley. Got fooled a little bit, got out there, but barreled the ball up to right field, and it flew out of here easily.
Off Michael Wacha. 1-1 on Herman. And Chip Hale has said the coaches know that Chris's bat works. And it's starting to come. This is a guy they think has that potential to be a good hitter, and that's why they traded for him in the first place. Acquired this winter from the Minnesota Twins. Oh, sounded like he broke his bat. A little jam shot fly ball out near the warning track. Cargo's got it, 1 away.
Obviously the ball's not going to carry nearly as well with a broken bat. That one got down near the trademark, still drove it out near the warning track in right center field.
You like the way he's swinging the bat lately. Here's another guy that swung the bat very well as of late. It's Chris Owings. And CO's in there at 290. A pair of doubles Friday in the series opener. He walked twice last night. A little roller to Paulson. He's got 1 play. Tomas moves along, and that's the second out.
We saw an unusually patient Chris Owings in that ball game last night. He walked his first 2 at bats of the game. Very aggressive here, first at bat today.
Here's Nick Ahmed still fighting it right now. He's at 183. He's homered 3 times. But Nick trying to snap a 3 for 42 skid right now. Ahmed hitting 8th today. The pitcher Shelby Miller batting 9th. Lines it right to Arenado. We are through 2 at Chase Field. The Diamondbacks lead the Rockies 1-0. Shelby Miller with a 1-0 lead on a Brandon Drury solo homer. The Gig Live high speed highlights presented by Cox. 3 ground ball outs in the second for Shelby.
Jam shot grounder off the bat of Gerardo Parra. A rollover grounder by DJ LeMahieu. And then Ben Paulson smothers one there at home plate. Easy ground ball to the right side. Nice inning for Shelby Miller in the defense.
I tell you, maybe he's locating where he wants to be locating.
Keep it off the barrel. Yeah, whether it's down on the trademark a little bit or out toward the end a little bit, you just want to avoid that happy spot right out there in the middle of the barrel.
The catcher for the Rockies today, Tony Walters, will lead off the Colorado third against Shelby Miller, who has set down 4 straight. And he starts off with strike 1. Walters at 182. Had his first career extra base hit Friday night, a 9th inning double. That snapped an 0 for 18 stretch. Oh, 2.
Had a little funny interchange between Tony Walters and his teammates.
Oh, that was funny.
Was that yesterday or the day before? I think it was yesterday.
Yeah.
That came out early to get some throwing to the bases. He threw to third, he threw to second, and his teammates were stretching in foul territory on the first base side. And every time he made a good throw, he'd get a standing ovation golf clap from his teammates over there at first base.
Yeah, you and I we looked up what's going on down there, and they were giving him big rounds of applause for every throw down to second. I guess they were really good throws.
They were good throws, really good.
And Shelby Miller elevates that time with a fastball, gets his first strikeout. That's 5 in a row set down by Shelby.
Never quite sure if it's by design or whether he just overthrew a fastball, but that's the one we were talking about earlier, that 4-seamer that runs up and into a righty, up and away from a lefty. Get it up there around the letters. That's a devastating pitch.
The pitcher, Chad Bettis, he has often changed his repertoire for such a young guy, Shelby Miller. Got that 4-seamer, then he started playing around with a really good 2-seam sinking fastball, and then he picked up a cut fastball, which he threw a lot against the Cardinals in his last start. He is always sort of changing what he's got out there for a guy who's only 25.
Well, ideally, Shelby will continue to experiment with this stuff out there on the mound until eventually he settles on one arsenal of pitches that he can be effective consistently from start to start to start.
Back-to-back strikeouts open up the third. Yeah, he was in St. Louis with Adam Wainwright, and it was Wainwright who told Shelby, look, a 4-seam fastball is not going to cut it for your entire career. You need something else. So he picked up a 2-seam sinker grip from Justin Masterson, who was with the Cardinals at that time. Started toying around with that. And then it really took off for him. He became almost a sinker ball guy. Primarily got a lot of ground balls with that. And then more recently picked up a cut fastball. Started using that pitch a lot more often. That one got away from him to Blackman. I mean, just last year, for instance, he went to that cutter, a pitch he'd barely ever thrown it at all, and suddenly was using it about 20% of the time. Very effective pitch for him against lefties. And that meant he had to cut way back on the curveball. So it's been a constant evolution for Shelby Miller.
And occasionally, depending on the opposing lineup or the ballpark that you're playing in, you may choose to go with more 2-seamers if you want to keep the ball down and get grounders. The wind's blowing straight in at a ballpark on a given night. You may throw a lot more high 4-seamers, just challenging hitters to put the ball in the air. I'll tell you, with the infield defense that the Diamondbacks have behind their pitchers, That sinker is a very valuable pitch for everybody on this staff.
Well, he struck out Walters and Bettis, but a 4-pitch walk to Blackmon with 2 down. Second walk of the ball game for Shelby, and now he'll work to Trevor Story with Blackmon at first and 2 outs. Well, that 2-seamer really took off for Shelby. He was a guy who had a ground ball rate below 40%, but last year it jumped up to almost 50. So he became a very effective ground ball pitcher, and we've seen that in spots here today.
Now, you mentioned earlier Charlie Blackmon with over 40 stolen bases last year, and this would appear to be a situation where he'll try to get a jump and get himself into scoring position, probably very early in the at bat here by Trevor Story.
Story grounded out his first time up.
Of course, he just came back off the disabled list with turf toe, so that may affect his ability to get a good jump over there at first base.
And there he goes. First pitch, it gets away from Herman, and Blackmon is in there with his second stolen base this year. He swiped 43 last season.
Now, we figured it would come early in the at bat by Trevor Story. You want to get yourself into scoring position as quickly as possible if you're that base runner, to give a guy like Trevor Story an opportunity to drive in a run with 2 outs in the inning. If you wait too deep in the at bat, maybe he's behind in the count now, maybe even a 2-strike count. Now the Diamondbacks could pitch out if they think that Blackmon might be running. So try to do it as quickly as possible in that at bat with 2 outs.
1-1. Trevor Story, 4 hits in this series, including a double, a triple, and a home run. He's knocked in 5, but with runners in scoring position this year, he's only 3 for 17.
12 strikeouts in those 17 at bats.
Leading the National League in strikeouts. He pulled that one. 2-1. That looked like the Shelby Miller we have been saying is overthrowing a bit from time to time.
He's trying to reach back for a little extra, and then when he does that, he loses his command.
Two and two.
Beat him with a fastball that time at 91. That's not even his best heater, but put it in a good location on that inside part of the plate. Story got jammed and fouled it out of play.
A dangerous hitter in this ballpark. We've learned that over the first month of the year. Trevor Story. 5 games in this yard, 8 hits, 12 RBIs, including 5 home runs. Got him. Shelby Miller. He walked Blackmon with 2 down, and he punched out Story to keep it 1-0 Diamondbacks. His 3rd strikeout today. Homer has made it 1-0 Diamondbacks. Fans follow Arizona Diamondbacks baseball live with the MLB.com at Bat app. You can stay up to the moment at any moment with game day, live game video highlights, StatCast, news, the whole thing. Just download MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet. The pitcher Shelby Miller leads off the Arizona third against Chad Bettis. And Bettis makes short work of his opposite number, his second strikeout. Brings up the leadoff man, Phil Gosselin, getting the start at second base today. Phil flying out his first time up. Phil Gosselin out of Malvern, PA. He played at the University of Virginia, where he was a 5th-round pick out of Charlottesville by the Braves 6 years ago. Acquired by the Diamondbacks last June in the trade that sent Bronson Arroyo and Touki Toussaint to Atlanta. That one rolls over the mound. Story won't collect it. Gosselin's aboard. Third hit for the Diamondbacks. A 1-out single for Phil Gosselin.
You can't shift on Phil Gosselin. He'll spray the ball all over the field. This time right back up the middle. A long run for Trevor Story just to get to the spot and could not field it clean.
Well, here's Brandon Drury, whose bat has come alive on this homestand. A solo homer his first time up, his 5th of the year. This one's in the bottom of the first. It's our Chaz Roberts air conditioning cool play of the game.
Very few things cooler for a pitcher than a home run in the bottom of the first inning by one of your teammates. Shelby Miller certainly appreciated that early lead.
A long 2-run homer last night, a solo shot tonight. He's homered in 4 of his last 5 games.
We've seen a lot of hitters in the National League, some on the Diamondbacks, a lot of movement, a lot of back waggling, hitting out of a crouch, and a lot of movement before that pitcher releases the ball. Brandon Drury is still as a statue. He'll take that last bat waggle, get it back there in a hitting position, and just wait.
Drives it to Blackman in center. 2 down. Here's Goldie.
First baseman, Paul Goldschmidt.
Goldie grounded out his first time up on a 3-2 pitch after a long battle with Bettis. Ball 1, time for the Coors Light Cold Hard Facts. Paul Goldschmidt against the Rockies. He has reached base safely in 40 straight games against Colorado. That's a Diamondbacks record against any opponent. And when you lead the major leagues in walks, you reach base safely against a lot of ball clubs.
Good to see Goldie hit a line drive into left field last night, his final at bat in the ball game. His outs lately, a lot of them have been ground balls. We're not used to seeing that many ground balls off of Paul Goldschmidt's bat. Line drives and hard hit fly balls, absolutely.
And 2 singles to left field last night, 2 for 4. Bettis strikes him out. 3 strikeouts for Chad Bettis, who strands the 1-out single. Diamondbacks lead the Rockies 1-0.
It's quickly shaping into a pretty good pitcher's duel here today. D-backs lead at 1-0. Hey fans, beginning on May 12th, the Diamondbacks baseball will be televised in Spanish on Fox Sports Arizona Plus, presented by your Valley Honda dealers. To find the channel listings and the 25-game schedule, visit foxsportsarizona.com.
Shelby Miller so far, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, and that's been it. He's looked very good. Bunch of ground ball outs.
And both the walks came with 2 outs in the inning.
Got a big strikeout of Trevor Story to end the 3rd. And now Cargo leads off the Colorado 4th. Shift is on. And there's strike 1. Gonzalez walked in his first plate appearance. Shelby at one point retired 6 in a row before that 2-out walk to Blackman in the 3rd, and then got Story to end the inning.
You watch Cargo. I talked about guys and what they do in their setup. Watch that bat with the pine tar grabbing the back of his jersey as he taps the bat on his shoulder.
The jersey sticks to the bat.
That'd drive me crazy.
Used to see that from Martin Prado all the time. Over the glove of Ahmed and into left, a base hit for Cargo. That's the Rockies' first hit against Shelby Miller. Gonzalez aboard again.
Well struck line drive to that left side. Nick's the only guy over there. Couldn't quite get up high enough to make the play.
That's generally about as close as you'll ever see Cargo come to hitting to the opposite field. Away from the shift. Nolan Arenado flying out to center his first time up. Arenado has homered in 3 of his last 4 games, tied with Story for the major league lead.
Now Story would have at least a 2-homer lead had not the Rockies adjusted their fences in right center. Story hit 2 balls that would have been gone last year that hit the added fence out in right center this year.
We'll get a look at those raised fences at the end of the next road trip. Diamondbacks fly to Miami right after the ball game today. We are off tomorrow, then 3 against the Marlins, 3 against the Braves in Atlanta next weekend. And we finish up with 3 in Denver against these Rockies. Our first look at Coors Field in 2016.
Diamondbacks Diamondbacks get Jose Fernandez in game 2 of that series against Ruby De La Rosa.
That will be must-see TV. That one goes through. Herman and Cargo will get second base.
Looks like Herman thought that ball was going to be a little bit lower than it was. Went down to block it. Looked like he could have possibly caught it in the air.
That's a pass ball charge to the Diamondbacks catcher. Puts Gonzalez at second. And a 2-1 count on Arenado. That looked like another pitch, Bob, on which Shelby tried to do a little too much with it. He tends to fall off the mound. He wants to talk to Herman now. It's not coming close to scraping his finger on the mound again, thank goodness. But tell me about what you're seeing right here with this delivery.
Occasionally you try to be a little bit too fine. You see Herman slides out on the outside corner. That ball spiked about 6 inches in front of the middle of the plate right there.
And that hand came down close to the mound again.
He's been close a couple of times, but it looks like he's really cutting off his follow through to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Behind on Arenado, 3 balls and 1 strike. And in the seats, 3-2. Chip Hill has said that Shelby has been overthrowing. If you watch his mechanics, there are some things that are happening that are causing him not to throw strikes. Pulling off the ball is how Chip put it. They've been trying to get him to stand upright a little bit more. They think that'll help keep him on line. 3-2 pitch. He drives it to right. This will score Gonzalez. Throw is cut off. 1-1 ball game. RBI single for Nolan Arenado.
Couple of opposite field hits to start this 4th inning for the Rockies. First Gonzalez going to left, and now Arenado going to right on a pitch that's just center cut on the plate. Right down the middle. He was intentionally trying to hit the ball that direction and gets rewarded with an RBI single.
So 2 singles open up the Rocky 4th. They tie the ball game 1-1, and now here's Gerardo Parra. Parra grounded out his first time up. This is driven right at Peralta. That's the first out in the 4th.
Wow, check your spray charts on that one. David was right on the blade of grass he needed to be on that time. Ball hit like a bullet, but right at the right fielder.
Dave McKay responsible for the positioning of the Diamondback outfielders in conjunction with Dr. Ed Lewis and the Diamondbacks analytics department here. Making sure everybody's lined up where they're supposed to be, and it worked out perfectly that time. DJ LeMahieu grounded out his first time up.
Well, as you can imagine, with the thumpers he has in his lineup, Walt Weiss doesn't play a lot of hit and run. They don't sack bunt very much, but this is a guy he does like to play hit and run with. DJ LeMahieu handles that bat so well. Arenado not a swift runner over there at first base, but on a hit and run it doesn't matter the speed of the runner. It's all on the hitter to protect the runner.
Yeah, Arenado was talking about that the other day with DJ LeMahieu. He said this is a guy who doesn't strike out a lot. He puts the ball in play, moves guys over, hits the ball the other way, does so many things and goes very unnoticed for what he does. He's right. This is a guy who was top 10 in the league in hitting last year. He's won a Gold Glove. He's been an All-Star. You don't hear a lot about him. That's hit hard into right. Third Rockies hit in this inning. Even their out was hard hit right to Parra.
That's the MO for DJ LeMahieu. Everything up the middle or to the right side. Rarely will he try to pull a ball into left field, and he shoots this one past Gosselin on out into right field to put Rockies at first and second with one out.
And Paulson will be the hitter. Gonzalez opened up the inning with a single. He went to second on a pass ball. That proved to be a big 90 feet because Arenado singled him home from second to tie the ball game. Parra lined one right to Peralta in right. Now LeMahieu is singled. Third hit in this inning. First and second, one out for Paulson. Shelby right at 60 pitches, 35 strikes. Breaking balls in there for a strike. 0-1.
Ben Paulson has to love coming here to play against the Diamondbacks. He lives in Tempe, makes his home there in the off season, so probably got to sleep in his own bed this weekend.
He's from Marietta, Georgia. Ben Paulson played collegiately at Clemson, a third-round pick by the Rockies in 2009. 1-2.
Well, that was an odd looking delivery that time by Shelby Miller. Really a slide step quick pitch with no threat of the runners going anywhere. Maybe just trying to disrupt the timing of Ben Paulson up there at the plate with that slide step.
That one sailed on him. That one got a piece of Chris Herman back there.
His left ear there, I think just the sound alone. You get those hockey style goalie masks and you're kind of contained in there. It's like ringing a bell with your head inside.
Well, Ryan DePanfilo, the assistant athletic trainer, going to go out there and have a look.
How are you? Huh? I can't hear you.
Well, we talked about Nick Hundley. That's how Nick Hundley wound up on the 7-day concussion DL for the Rockies earlier this month. He took a hard foul ball off the mask and had to go through the concussion protocol.
Hey, when you're a backup catcher and you only get to start once a week, it's going to take a lot more than getting your bell rung a little bit to get you out of a ball game.
Especially when you've homered in your last 2 starts like Chris has.
No kidding.
So here we go. 1-2 now. Arenado at second and LeMahieu at first. A run in. Reaches down and dunks it into center. They'll wave Arenado. The throw from Owings is cut off, and it's 2-1 Colorado. 4th hit in the inning against Shelby Miller.
Just a little soft liner. Paulson got fooled a little bit. Just flipped it out there into center field. One thing that is somewhat getting exposed for the Diamondbacks is the lack of throwing arms in the outfield. We haven't seen Yasmani Tomas make a good throw this year, and Chris Owings, of course, in his defense, is a second baseman trying to play center field. He's made all the plays. Unfortunately, just doesn't have that big outfield arm you'd like to see.
So 4 singles have led to 2 Rockies runs, still only 1 out. And here's the number 8 hitter. It's the catcher Tony Walters, who struck out in his first at bat. He's got the pitcher Bettis behind him. Walters in there at 176 on the year. This is a guy who was a big surprise in spring training, made the opening day roster after he'd been waived by Cleveland. He had never played above Double-A. Rockies picked him up on the waiver wire, and he won a job with Colorado. He can play second base, he can play shortstop, he can catch. They like the versatility here with Walters. And he's got an excellent throwing arm. There go the runners. Double steal, and he fouls it off. Walt Weiss getting aggressive here with his 8-hole hitter.
Yeah, he'll do it with the guys at the bottom of the order from LeMahieu on down. Maybe not Ben Paulson, because he's a guy that can hit the ball up in the seats if you make a mistake. But yeah, Tony Walters, a good athlete, as you mentioned, had a 19 stolen base season in the minor leagues. Of course, he's playing infield then. He might have lost a step or two going back behind the plate, but very versatile guy.
Yeah, originally a 3rd-round pick by Cleveland on a Rancho Buena Vista High School in California. Came up as a middle infielder and was only converted to catcher 3 years ago. Cleveland waived him just before spring training at the last moment, really, and the Rockies took a flyer on him, picked him up. And they got him back this spring to playing both middle infield spots as well as catching, and he won a big league job. Says catching has made him a better infielder. Slows things down for him out there. Off the fist, little jam shot pop up. Third base for Drury. Infield fly rule in effect. And that's the 2nd out.
Pitcher, Chad.
Well, this is one of those moments where it's nice to be a National League pitcher. You're in a little bit of a trouble. It's been a bumpy 4th inning. But then you got your 8th place hitter, the catcher hitting a $170, and now the pitcher. Got to take advantage of it and stop the bleeding right here.
Yeah, occasionally you'll bump up against a Madison Bumgarner or a Jake Arrieta, somebody that handles the bat well, but for the most part you should be able to just bury these guys at the bottom of the order.
Right, like that. Falling off the mound again right there.
Yeah, the 4th inning has been problematic for Shelby this season. I mentioned earlier in the ballgame he's not allowed a 1st inning run in any of his starts yet this year. 4 runs in the 2nd inning, 2 runs in the 3rd inning, but in the 4th, 9 runs.
Yeah, Shelby had been rolling along. A 2-out walk to Gonzalez in the 1st, but he retired Arenado to win that inning. Retired 6 in a row before he walked Blackman with 2 down in the 3rd. Struck out Story to strand him. But a bumpy ride here in the 4th. 4 Colorado singles have led to 2 Rockies runs. He's fallen off the mound again, and he's behind on the pitcher, 3-1. You can see him falling over to the first base side. That's what I guess, Bob, is that what they're talking about when they're trying to get him back online, because he's falling, it seems, offline there.
Every pitcher falls a little bit to their glove side. You really see it with left-handers falling off to the third base side, but you need to complete your pitch first, and then it's okay to go ahead and fall off to the first base side if that's what's comfortable for you.
That hand is getting down there awfully low again.
He shook it out a little bit there after that particular pitch. Not sure if it did scrape on the dirt once again or just some residual effect from the last time he did it.
Mike Butcher out there not liking what he's seeing. Behind on the pitcher, 3 balls and 1 strike. LeMahieu, the runner at second. Paulson at first. 2 down. Three and 2. There go the runners. He walked the pitcher. With 2 outs, they're loaded for Charlie Blackmon.
Center field, Charlie Blackmon.
Once again, maybe just trying to be a little bit too fine, trying to dot that outside corner at the knees against the opposing pitcher when come right down Main Street. Challenge him to put that ball in play.
8th Colorado hitter here in the 4th. Blackmon has flied out and walked. They're loaded with 2 outs. DJ LeMahieu is the runner at third for the Rockies. Ben Paulson at second. The pitcher Chad Bettis at first. Bullpen will get busy for the Diamondbacks. That's Jake Barrett down there. Sanderson Ford bullpen. Marvin Alston, the bullpen coach, right by the phone there. 1-1 on Charlie Blackmon. Keeps falling off toward that first base side. That hand keeps coming close to the mound. The mechanics seem to have come apart here in the 4th. Pitch number 30 in this inning coming up. Missed again. So he walked the pitcher Bettis to load him up. And he's fallen behind on Blackmon. 3 balls and 1 strike. Barrett continues to throw in the bullpen. He walked in a run. 4 walks in the ball game for Shelby Miller. 2 in this inning. And Trevor Story will hit now with the bases full of Rockies. Story has grounded out and struck out. He's 0 for 2. And Chip Hale is going to stop things right here. Boy, it was looking very promising for Shelby Miller. 3 hitless innings. He walked 2, struck out 3, at one point retired 6 straight. But the wheels have fallen off in the 4th. Diamondbacks down 3-1. Back in a moment. sunny day here in downtown Phoenix, but clouds are darkening over the pitcher's mound here for the young right-hander Jake Barrett, who inherits about as big a mess as you can think of. Bases loaded, and the batter will be Trevor Story. For Jake, recalled from AAA Reno this week, the 7 big league appearances, a 3.38 ERA, 6 strikeouts against only 1 walk. And he'll try and pull a rabbit out of the hat right here.
He pitched 1 inning on Friday. The first game of this series came in after Robbie Ray ran into some trouble, gave up the long home run to Nolan Arenado. Jake Barrett came in and struck out 2 of the 3 batters he's faced to get out of that 5th inning.
Trevor Story 0 for 2. 3 runs in, bases loaded, 2 outs. Story leading the major leagues in home runs. In there for strike 1.
First pitch slider for a strike. Guy that's, as we've said repeatedly throughout this series, constantly looking for that first pitch fastball.
Well, Jake Barrett came in that series opener, Bob, as you mentioned, after Robbie Ray had given up back-to-back homers to Story and Arenado and got 3 quick outs. Reynolds grounded out, Rayburn struck out, Parra struck out, so he put out a big-time fire there and trying to do it again right here, ahead 0-2. Cargo, who started off this inning with a single, is on deck.
It's a nice pitch right there, 0-2. Bury that slider in the dirt, low and away. Maybe get Story to chase. We've seen him chase a lot of breaking balls in the dirt in this series.
Leading the National League in strikeouts. Story, his first 5 games in this ballpark, 8 hits, 12 RBIs. Ring him up and set him down. Jake Barrett. Well, the house is burning down and the Sun Devil puts out the fire. D-backs trail at 3-1.
The Diamondbacks 3-1. Let's take a look back in history presented by Geico on this day back in 1991. Indeed an historic day. A couple of future Hall of Famers on display. Ricky Henderson stole his 939th base to pass Lou Brock. He finished his career with 1,406 stolen bases. And Nolan Ryan, the oldest man in Major League Baseball to throw a no-hitter. It was the 7th of his career. A 3-0 blanking of the Toronto Blue Jays. He punched out 16 in that game.
And of course, while Ricky was running wild in Oakland, he played for Tony La Russa, who's got one of the best Rickey Henderson stories ever. I think I've told you this one before about when Rickey first arrived in Oakland as David Peralta leads it off. Rickey, of course, you get Rickey Henderson. Well, Rickey's got the green light. You steal whenever you want, Rickey. That's what Tony told him. But Rickey said, no, I want signs. I'm a team guy. Rickey wants signs. All right, Rickey, we'll give you a sign. If I touch the elbow, that's steal. If I touch the legs, that's steal. If I touch anything above the waist, I'm going to take off the steal sign. Okay, I got it. So Rickey gets on first, puts the steal sign on, touches his legs, touches his elbow, takes it off. Rickey goes and steals second. Oh, what happened there? I took off the sign. Must have got confused. All right. He's on second base, touches the legs, touches his arm, so he takes the steal sign off. Rickey goes, steals third. Eventually comes in, and Tony La Russa said, I got on. I said, hey, what happened? He said, you wanted signs. I gave you the signs, and you're running anyway. I gave you the takeoff sign. Rickey said, well, I did. I took off. No, that's not what that means, Rickey.
Oh, Rickey.
Yasmani Tomas. Do you ever have a guy that just could not get the signs, whatever you did, as simple as you made him?
I had a teammate with the Giants, our shortstop, Jose Uribe. Really good defensive player, occasionally a good offensive player, but I mean, you could have the simplest signs in the history of baseball, and he'd find a way to miss them. If I touch my hat, I want you to bunt. Okay. Touch your hat. They'd swing away, get a base hit. And you know, he was so good at other aspects of his game, you tended to overlook it, and usually we had the first base coach go over and whisper in his ear, hit and run. You're going to run when the pitcher throws the ball.
You have a Navy signalman down there.
Waving the flags, yeah. Well, there's a lot of guys that have difficulty getting signs, and I think a lot of times it's just a lack of effort. It's not that hard.
Chopper to Arenado.
It's a lot like pitchers getting their signs from the catcher. A lot of times it's just the first sign you see. Other times it'll be very simple, first sign after two, and anything tougher than that, they don't want to mess with it. I don't want to have to think that hard.
You can only hurt the ball club.
I can't imagine any other profession where you would go up to your boss and say, boy, this part of my job's just too hard.
Chris Herman. I've known managers who said they would sit next to the trainer in the dugout, and the trainer would actually be giving the signs, depending on where he placed a towel or if he crossed his legs or something.
Sure.
You ever try that?
We had decoys occasionally in the dugout. You know, I'd be going through all kinds of signs, and you know, Glenn Sherlock would be sitting at the other end of the dugout, just, you know, touching his hat for a hit and run, touch your belt for a bunt, something very simple. And ideally, you distract the other team, get them looking at you while you're going through all the rigmarole of signs, and it's a very simple sign from somebody else sitting on the bench. It was always terrifying as a manager against the Cardinals, because Tony was over there, and Dave Duncan and Dave McKay and Jose Oquendo at third base, and every time I would start to give signs, I felt like I was on stage. Every one of them was eyeballing me.
That one is hard hit into right center. Chris Herman, another start, another base hit. America's backup catcher, as he's now being referred to.
Getting it rolling with that bat a little bit, that's really good to see. You may remember his first at bat, he broke his bat and chased Cargo all the way to the warning track. This time a ringing line drive through that shift for a base hit.
Brings up Chris Owings. Well, you're looking across the opposite dugout at La Russa and Duncan and some of those other names from McKay. I mean, that's a Hall of Fame lineup right there.
Yeah.
That's got to be intimidating. And when they're all staring at you, what's he doing over there?
Yeah, the best advice I received going into the playoffs in 2001 against the Cardinals, Ray Fosse, fine broadcaster for the Oakland A's. I got a call from him, and he said, manage your game. Don't worry about what those guys are doing. That's what they want you to do. They want you to change your signs. They want you to try to get out of your rhythm because of all the eyeballs that they have on you. He said, just do your game, let them worry about their game.
Look at Arenado. Nolan Arenado on a very tricky short hop. Fires an absolute bullet over there to Paulson. And they retire Chris Owings. 3 years in, 3 Gold Gloves. That's why. D-backs trail the Rockies 3-1. Hey fans, every Sunday is Kids Sunday here at Chase Field. After the game, all kids can run the bases for Phoenix Children's Hospital. And during every game, kids of all ages enjoy the Sandlot, a family-friendly destination in the upper concourse. There's a toddler playground up there, wiffle ball field, even a batting cage for the big kids. Coach Sean Payton's up there too. He'll coach them up. See all the great promotions for kids at dbacks.com/kids. And then, of course, you got to feed them. That's always a project, right? Jake Barrett, who got out of a bases-loaded mess to win the 4th, will face Carlos Gonzalez to open up the 5th.
Apparently that hot dog wasn't quite centered in the middle of the bun there. Make some adjustments. The game's all about adjustments.
As always, the shift is on for Cargo. Rockies with 4 singles and 2 walks in that 4th inning. They got 3 against Shelby Miller, who had to leave early. Lined it right to Goldie. That's why the shift is on. 1 away. They retire Cargo for the first time today.
Now, this is a category you do not want to lead the league in, but unfortunately the Diamondbacks do lead the league in innings pitched out of the bullpen.
Yeah.
And they're going to get at least 5 1/3 more today with the short start by Shelby Miller.
He wenches 3 2/3 innings. There is an off day tomorrow. That's something that Chip Hale can hang on to here. At least get his bullpen 1 day off. As we fly to Miami after the ball game today, open up a 3-game series at Marlins Park on Tuesday. That'll be Patrick Corbett and Justin Nicolino, a battle of left-handers. Ruby De La Rosa and Jose Fernandez Wednesday. That's going to be a tremendous game to watch. And then Robbie Ray and Adam Conley Thursday.
Wasn't Conley the guy that had a no-hitter going?
He was the guy that had the no-no in Milwaukee earlier this week and then had to come out because he was at 100 million pitches or whatever it was. Yeah, the Marlins are rolling right now. They're getting beat up today, but they've been playing very well lately. Goldie runs out. Miami right now, actually that game's just gone final. They've lost to the Brewers 14-5 at Miller Park. Miami had a very good week for Don Mattingly. They went into LA and swept the Dodgers in a 4-game series. And they're of course going through all the D. Gordon stuff now that he's been suspended for PEDs. After that we go to Atlanta and then Colorado to play these Rockies again. Right for the radio booth. Mike Farron doesn't flinch. Great job by Jake Barrett to get out of that big mess in the fourth. He struck out Story looking with the bases full and 2 outs. Roof and panels open. Just a beautiful day here. Arenado reaches out, gets a piece of that to stay alive. Clayton Kershaw dealing right now. Dodgers, boy, they've lost a bunch of games in a row. 6, 7. They are leading the Padres 1-0 in the 7th inning.
Yeah, they've lost 6 in a row.
Kershaw's RBI single is the game's only run. Trying to snap a 6-game losing streak. Shift is on. Phil Gosselin from the shortstop spot. Clayton Kershaw threw 6 in LA against the Padres. Has 2 hits, given up 2 hits. And he's got 8 strikeouts. 3 hits now. This is why we call our staff moderately reliable. It just happened. He's defending himself.
On a good day. On a good day, they're moderately reliable.
I think we're going to have to expand Dennis Lamb's duties up here. Have Dennis start doing some stat work. Dennis is, I guess he's got his hands full. He's got a full plate over there. Audio, spokesmodel, product placement.
I can't get on Dennis too hard. He brought me a nice cake a couple of days ago. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Dennis.
There is the great Dennis Lamb, the latest episode of the Dennis Lamb Show. Parra 0 for 2. This is hit out deep toward the pool. And it's in the pool. Gerardo Parra, that's his third. 4-1 Rockies. Gerardo Parra red hot. He's now hit in 7 straight. 10 of his last 11 games.
Remember his last at bat in this ball game back in the 4th inning. He hit a rocket right at David Peralta in right field. Man, that's a belt high fastball over the middle of the plate. And this one is hit hard, but with a little more elevation this time.
He's telling Walt Weiss it was a good swing. DJ LeMahieu. Gerardo Parra, he's a trip, man. He's a lot of fun. Drives it out to Peralta. And the inning ends, but Parra's third has made it 4-1 Colorado.
run extends the Rockies' lead to 4-1 as we head to the bottom half of the fifth. The Fox Sports Arizona Fan Express, presented by Cox Communication, is ready to take you to a Diamondbacks game. Stop by this month's participating Cox Solution Store at the Tempe Marketplace to enter for a chance to win 2 seats on the Fan Express bus. You'll receive round-trip transportation to the D-backs game on May 14th.
Nick Ahmed, deep fly ball to center, but Charlie Blackmon's out there.
If we come back on the 14th on the Cox Communications Fan Express, that ball might get out of here. Registration ends on May 5th. For more information, visit foxsportsarizona.com.
We got to get some guys on there to shoot some driving the bus promo.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant.
Number 22.
Well, some work to do for the Diamondbacks. Down 4-1. Jake Lamb will hit for Jake Barrett here. Jake not in the starting lineup today. 278 and 3 home runs. He flied out in a pinch hit appearance last night.
And we were both a little surprised Jake Lamb was not in the lineup today. Not sure if he maybe has a bug or some kind of a nagging injury or something, but usually Jake gets the starts against all the right-handers.
He rolls this one to LeMahieu. Well, Chad Bettis been a little bit of a bulldog right-hander so far this year, and once again he's doing a good job for Walt Weiss out there. Rockies came into this series, which opens a 10-game NL West road trip for them, having lost 5 in a row. And it was Bettis who said, look, this is a big road trip for us. And he admitted they couldn't keep going on this skid, and it's got to stop now, he said. Well, they're in a position here to get their first sweep of the Diamondbacks in this ballpark since July of 2004. They lead it 4-1 in the 5th as Phil Gosselin steps in. So Bettis was the guy who sort of stood up in front of the press there and said, all right, we got to get going here. And he's delivered here today in his start in the series finale.
I imagine if you're a pitcher for the Colorado Rockies, it can get between your ears a little bit.
Got to, right?
You know, 81 games a year in that ballpark. You see broken bats fly out of the stadium. You see bloopers drop in front of your outfielders because they have to play so deep. You have to be mentally strong as well as physically strong to pitch in that ballpark.
Well, they got beat up on their last homestand, a 5-game losing streak coming in. And on that homestand at Coors Field, Rocky starting pitchers had an ERA that was right about 10. But their starters have delivered big time here in this series. Gosselin bounces it to LeMahieu. And Chad Bettis is through 5 with a 4-1 lead. Diamondbacks got to get going here. As we start the 6th. Plan ahead, fans. Get the kids to some upcoming Kids Sunday games. Sunday games are perfect for the family. They start at 1:10. Sunday, May 15th, kids can take home the youth T-ball set, courtesy of MLB Play Ball. And this year's back-to-school game, July 17th. And make sure you're here for that one. You'll take home, as Bob Brenly models, our one-of-a-kind backpack featuring that new teal that we've got on the uniforms this year. That's a really good-looking backpack.
It is. It's the first in your school to have one.
Courtesy of Smile Generation. Get your tickets at dbacks.com. That looks great. Got the teal on there. It's coming up July 17th. So get your tickets now at dbacks.com. New pitcher for the Diamondbacks. Arizona Federal Credit Union pitching change. Randall Delgado already with 13 appearances this year. That puts him right there among the National League leaders. He has thrown 16 innings in relief.
One of those came on Friday night. Same order in relief of Jake Barrett. Clean inning for Randall in that ball game. Zeros across the board.
Ben Paulson, an RBI single back in that 3-run Colorado fourth. We could use some good pitching news here, and I've got some for you, baby.
Okay.
Braden Shipley, who's off to a terrific start, #1 pick from a few years ago. He has thrown now 15 consecutive scoreless innings. He got the start today for Reno. 6 shutout innings, gave up 4 hits, struck out 5 as Paulson reaches out and rolls that to Drury. That's a 5-3 putout with a shift on, and that's the first out here in the 6th. So Braden Shipley, 6 innings of 4-hit ball. He walked 2, struck out 5, and there is no score right now. Reno hosting Albuquerque.
6 innings of shutout baseball in Reno?
In Reno. Which is not easy. Tony Walters, the catcher, 0 for 2. And it was a great major league debut last night for lefty Zach Curtis. There he is, speaking of minor league pitching news. And quite a story. I don't know if you saw, he found out he was going to the big leagues 2 nights ago. He was in line at an In-N-Out burger after a ball game. That's the way you eat in the minor leagues.
Oh,
you know
the minor
that, right?
leagues, yep.
And as he's standing there in his line, all of a sudden his phone goes off, and it's a text message from J.R. House, the manager at Visalia. Or actually, it was from the pitching coach, and the pitching coach was saying, JR is really mad at you. You got to get back here right now. Right now. Oh, Curtis is, I mean, he's just waiting for his burger. All of a sudden, he's got this text. He starts freaking out. He said he was worried. He wasn't sure what he'd done. What could I have done wrong? What did I do that JR didn't like? Did I forget to do something? So he runs over to the ballpark, and all the coaches were there as Walters walks. So he quickly figured out he wasn't in trouble, and that was a good thing. And they told him, you're going up. Now keep in mind, this is A ball, okay, at Visalia. So he said, okay, I guess I'm going to Mobile, AA, that's cool. And they said, here's your itinerary. They said, no, you're going to Phoenix to be with the Diamondbacks. And the whole thing was recorded, and look at the expression on his face when they told him, no, you're not going to Mobile, you're going to the big leagues. And Zach said he just stared at them. He said he got a hot and clammy feeling. And J.R. House, who is just an absolute peach, a terrific guy, the manager at Visalia, said, you are a Major League Baseball player.
Well, what a debut. Came into that ball game last night with a runner at first and second. Got a ground ball double play. He's a big leaguer now.
But that expression on Zach Curtis's face, look at that. When you get the news, you're going, no. You're going from A ball to the major leagues. It came, talk about coming out of nowhere for him. So he packed his bags and joined us in Phoenix.
Seems so appropriate. He was standing in line at a fast food restaurant.
Doesn't it? Well, we've talked about that. Brandon Drury told us a lot about that. And Brandon is a very guy's a physical specimen. He keeps himself in great shape. He's very smart about nutrition and working out. And he was telling us, look, here in the minor leagues, it's hard to eat well. There goes the runner, Walters, and Bettis fouls it back. I mean, Brandon's always looking to eat fruit and vegetables whenever he can, but, you know, they hand you $5 and you drop by a burger joint, and that's pretty much it, right?
Absolutely. I had a teammate when I played in Fresno, California in the Cal League that went out to a thrift shop and bought a sports coat for $2. And when we would travel around the Cal League, usually there were several budget motels close to where we stayed, and inevitably one of them would be having a luncheon, a local real estate whatever, or teachers association.
I see where this is going.
And he'd put on his sports coat and just walk in like he belonged there, grab a plate, eat lunch, and then sneak out the back door.
Hi, my name is Phil.
Yeah, it worked great.
Just write Clyde Bixby on your little name tag and go in there and eat.
I don't believe I've met you. Well, I just got assigned here from the home office.
Isn't that Johnson from sales? 1-2 on Bettis, who squares to bunt again with Walters at first and strikes out.
Now, when you're operating on a minor league salary and minor league meal money, you get very creative with your meals. So this was back in the days before I was a fisherman, but we had a couple of guys on our team that did like to fish, and we would go to Salt Lake City, Utah, and these guys would go catch trout and bring them back to the hotel and have them cooked up, and we would eat fish every meal we were in Salt Lake City. Pocket that, you know, $11 meal money.
Charlie Blackmon has walked twice, once with the bases loaded. Of course, I love the story about how you found out you were going to the major leagues. You were in the Grand Canyon, right? They couldn't find you.
I was up there with my mother, and my aunt and uncle had come to town to visit, playing for the Phoenix Giants at the time, and we had a rare off day and jumped in the car and drove up to the Grand Canyon. Of course, no cell phones, no Twitter, none of that stuff.
The good old days.
Yeah, just driving back from the Grand Canyon late at night and listening to the local radio station here, and announced that a couple of our local ball players got called up to the Giants today, and that immediately got my interest. And then they said Bob Tufts, a left-handed pitcher, and Bob Brenly, a catcher utility. I looked at my wife Joan. I said, did they just say my name? And she said, yeah, I think they did. So, you know, foot to the floor, 90 miles an hour the rest of the way back to Phoenix, and called my boy Rocky Bridges, and he said, where the hell have you been? They're waiting for you in San Francisco.
And off you went. And then, of course, Joan has to figure out, all right, we got to move stuff, and we're renting and sell some furniture and pack up and the whole thing, right?
I'll see you in a few days. You take care of all the legwork and all the heavy lifting. I'm just going to go to the big leagues.
Well, that happened with Zach Curtis, his wife, and their young child back in Tennessee, where they're from. And I think she's a nurse, and she had to call her boss and get out of work and get on a plane and get out here. And she told him, well, my husband just got called up from the major leagues. And the boss said, well, that's a good reason. Okay, no problem. We'll
good for me.
Cover you. Look out, EY. Look at the hops on Eric Young Sr. down there at first. You know, EY's son, EY's got a 9-year-old boy named Dallas, and Dallas is a movie star.
Really?
I was talking to EY the other day. My wife Cindy and I went down there. I worked with Eric for years at another network, but he's got a little son, Dallas, that went to all these auditions, and he's already got a movie part. He's got a TV show, and he's guest starred on another thing. He's got a big-time agent. He's 9 years old. Wow. I mean, the people that book the child actors, they're blowing up their phones trying to get Dallas some gigs. Everybody wants him. He's a natural, they said. I said to EY, well, I don't know where he got that from. And he said Dallas's favorite player is Goldie. Because EY used to be here, and Dallas, when he was much younger, would come in the Diamondback clubhouse and sit down and talk to Goldie about baseball. And they always told Eric, you know, your little son, he's different. It's like talking to a grown-up.
Good for him. I have to keep an eye out for the name.
Yeah. He's got a little thing in the new movie. I think it's called Mother's Day. There's a little clip at the beginning, I guess, and you can see Dallas and his mom. And he said he's been wearing out Goldie down there all series. He's doing it right now. He just keep cracking Goldie up down there.
Goldie's turning to the first base umpire Tim Timmons. Make him stay in the box, will you?
Get him to shut up. 2-2. They got all these kid shows now, you know, they sitcoms and on these kids networks. Dallas is on one of those shows. Got a movie, got a TV deal. Some are a little more shy than others. 3-2 pitch. There goes Walters, and Delgado strikes out Blackman. He strands the one-out walk. Bottom 6 on the way. Diamondbacks trail the Rockies 4-1.
Participate in Gila River game nights by signing up at one of the interactive kiosks right here at Chase Field during any Diamondbacks regular season home game.
Diamondbacks trying to get the offense going here. Brandon Drury, who homered in the first inning of the only Arizona run so far, lead off the 6th against Chad Bettis, who once again has gone pretty deep into a ball game for Walt Weiss. Bettis has a 4-1 lead. He'll work to Drury, Goldie, Peralta 2, 3, and 4. D-backs have only 4 hits, 3 singles, and the Drury homer. And Brandon has now homered in 4 of his last 5 games. That is another base hit for Brandon Drury. A leadoff single. He's 2 for 3. Everything he hits is hard.
Everything is hard. He hits that ball with some anger. Another cement mixer slider up over the plate that time. It just rips it past Trevor Story before he could even react.
Goldie has grounded out, struck out 0 for 2. He homered off Chad Bettis here in the 2nd game of the year. In there for a strike, 1-1. Chad Bettis has gone at least 6 full innings in each of his last 4 starts. He leads this one 4-1 in the 6th. Looking for his 3rd win this year. He's 2-1. Bettis pitched here at Chase Field, 2nd game of the season. Diamondbacks did get to him then. 5 runs, 7 hits, and 5 1/3. Goldie and Gene Segura homered off him. He's coming off his first loss of the year in his previous start. That was Monday at Coors Field against the Pirates, when Bettis gave up 4 runs, 6 hits, and 6 2/3. He labored in that game, threw 114 pitches, but got deep into the 7th inning. But he has been very efficient here this afternoon. Behind on Goldie, however, 3-1. All these pitchers in this series, Bob, for Colorado. We started off with Chatwood and then Russin last night, Bettis today. None of them have dazzling stuff. They just seem to all locate pretty well and stay in control and get the job done. They certainly have in this series.
It's been kind of tough to figure when you look at the stat sheet and look at the numbers for this Rockies pitching staff, including the 3 guys that started in this series, and you would figure the Diamondbacks should get fat in this series.
Yeah. But it's been the opposite, in fact. Their offense has been quiet. 5 hits Friday, just 5 hits last night. And so far, through 2.5 games, they have scored only 3 runs.
Walters with a quick trip to the mound here. Talk over this 3-2 pitch to Paul Goldschmidt. Boy, you'd really love to make something happen here in this 6th inning. After the leadoff single by Brandon Drury, you got the middle of your lineup coming up in this inning with a chance to do some damage. And then depending on how the outs fall in the next couple of innings, we'll probably see these same guys again in the 9th.
Fouls off another 3-2 pitch. Called strike 3, and he knew it. 4th strikeout for Chad Bettis. He's gotten Goldie twice today.
Oh, that's a flat slider on the inside corner of the plate. As you mentioned, Goldie just turned around, walked back to the dugout right there. Another hanger he got away with.
It's been a quiet series for David Peralta. He has struck out, grounded out today, 0 for 2. Just 1 hit in the series. That was a single Friday night. Looking for something to spark the offense. Dunks it into center. A base hit for Peralta. Drury stops at 2nd. Diamondbacks have 2 hits in the same inning for the first time today. Now it's Monty Tomas.
Tomas 1 for 2 on the afternoon, an opposite field single in his first at bat of the ball game. Hang him one of those sliders on the inside part of the plate.
Be a tie game in a hurry. Drury at second, Peralta at first. Diamondbacks over their last 5 games, 0 for 14. Make that 2 for 27 with runners in scoring position. 0 for their last 14. Moving his feet around again. Swing and a miss. 0-1. Still no one throwing in the Colorado bullpen. That is not yet at 80 pitches for the ball game. This guy's earned a lot of goodwill with Walt Weiss. Tomas, base hit, it's off the glove of Story. Matt Williams will wave Drury home and he will score, and it's 4-2. El Tanque, Yasmani Tomas, the RBI single.
First base hit through the right side, this one through the left side. That's another one of those sliders. Didn't take the movement the way Bettis wanted. Tomas able to hit that hard topspin grounder just off the glove of Trevor Story, which was a break right there. That allowed Drury to score easily. We know all about Gerardo Parra's arm out there in left field. If that ball rolled through cleanly, Matt Williams probably has to throw up the stop sign.
Steve Foster, the pitching coach out there. A word with Chad Bettis as the Diamondbacks break that 0 for 14 stretch with runners in scoring position on the Tomas single. And now the tying runs are on base with 1 out for Chris Herman, who singled his last time up. Bettis try and get out of this here. The pitch count is low. They love the way he competes, Walt Weiss says. Peralta at second, Tomas at first. He's the tying run. Here's Herman, who's 1 for 2. Bullpen still quiet for Colorado. Diamondbacks have now out-hit the Rockies 7-5, but they trail it 4-2. In there for a strike, 2-1. Jordan Baker back there tonight. A bouncer. It's by Arenado. Here comes the freight train, and it's 4-3. Well, Chris Herman is living right. He's homered in each of his last 2 starts, and somehow he got one by Nolan Arenado. That's not easy to do.
Not easy to do at all. Little bouncer to the left side of the field. Arenado was playing a little closer to third base than he normally would because there was a runner at second, and that was all the room Chris Herman needed to sneak that one through into left field for an RBI base hit.
3 straight singles for the Diamondbacks after Drury led off the inning with a single. They've got 2 home. It's a 4-3 game, and the tying run is at second. go-ahead run at first. 1 out for Chris Owings. CO has twice grounded out, 0 for 2. Now the bullpen will get busy for the Rockies.
Yeah, this is one of those that can sneak up on you as a manager. Yeah, ground ball sneaks through, another ground ball bounces through, and you're telling yourself, well, he's still throwing okay. He's all right out there. Then you make one more mistake, and a 3-run bomb lands in the left field bleachers, and everybody's saying, why didn't you have your bullpen ready?
1-0 on Owings. That's in the seats. Go back to that second game of the year, the opening series against these Rockies. When Bettis started against the Diamondbacks, it was the 6th inning, during which the Diamondbacks scored 3 runs against him. Lamb doubled, Tomas walked, Ahmed had a single, and that ended Bettis's day. Bergman came in, gave up a 2-run triple to Segura, and once again Bettis has hit some bumps in the road here in the 6th. Ahmed is on deck, pitcher spot after that. Ricky Weeks looks ready to go in the Diamondback dugout. Looks like the lefty is warming up in the Diamondback bullpen. Andrew Chafin. 2-2 on Owings. Sanderson Ford bullpen. There's the sheriff, Andrew Chafin. Trying to at least get that tying run home from second. Fights it off. Mayhew, Story, Owings beats it out. They'll only get one.
Just does beat that relay throw. Chris Owings busting it down that line, trying to keep this inning going for Nick.
Well, Nick Ahmed right now 3 for 44. He's up there with 2 outs and the tying run 90 feet away.
Good time to break out right here.
Nick has lined out to third, flied out to center. He's 0 for 2. Ricky Weeks Jr. is indeed out there in the on-deck circle. He would hit for the pitcher, Delgado.
Wellington Castillo heading down to the Diamondbacks bullpen as well.
Got 2 guys throwing down there now. Nick Ahmed sees Arenado back, tries to bunt for a base hit, but that one's fouled off, and he's down 0-2. Tyler Clippard has joined Andrew Chafin in the Sanderson Ford bullpen, the right-hander.
I think you might see Wellington Castillo come into this ballgame as part of a double switch if the inning should end right here.
Just missed with that one, a ball and 2 strikes.
As you mentioned, Ricky Weeks in the on-deck circle to pinch hit for the pitcher spot. If the inning ended right here, bring Andrew Chafin in. You might want to use him for multiple innings, so you'd have to make some kind of a double switch.
Chafin the left-hander, Clipper the right-hander. Ricky Weeks hoping to get a chance. Lifted in the air to center, Blackman. Diamondbacks strand 2, but they get 2, and will head to the 7th in a 1-run ball game. field. D-backs back within one. They trail the Rockies 4-3. Hey, D-backs fans, we are excited to introduce to you 1893 for the makers of Pepsi Cola. It's a premium cola inspired by the original Pepsi recipes and features premium cola extract and fair trade sugar. Pick one up at your local retailer today. 1893 from the makers of Pepsi. We got ourselves a ball game again as we start the 7th. Randall Delgado back out there for the Diamondbacks. And they'll face the heads of state in this Rockies order. Trevor Story, Carlos Gonzalez, Nolan Arenado, 2, 3, and 4. Story so far 0 for 3. He has struck out twice. I'd like to keep that going. Cloud cover overhead, breaking up a bit. Just a perfect day to be at the ballpark. Very comfortable here. We're all opened up. Trevor Story certainly comfortable here. And that one somehow stays in the yard, and he is 0 for 4. Got that point now, BB, where you've got that big shadow making its way across the field.
Kind of looks like a scene from Independence Day.
It does.
Yeah, not so sure how much longer the hitters are going to have good visibility. So far so good, but that shadow will be moving out across the mound, across that batter's eye in center field.
That's almost at the mound right now. It'll get there before it gets to the plate. Cargo up there now. He has walked, singled, scored a run. He was on base 4 times last night with 3 singles and a walk, and there's strike 1. Shift is on for Gonzalez. Delgado misses in, and it's 1-1. There's a good look. See Chris Owings out there in center, right on the line. Gonzalez finally knocks one away from the shift. Don't see that too often. But he's hit 2 over there today.
Yeah, the first one was a line drive right over the head of Nick Ahmed standing at shortstop. This one about a 99 hopper that just rolled past third base out into shallow left field.
A 1-out base runner for Nolan Arenado, who had an RBI single in the 4th. He's 1 for 3. He's got 4 hits in the series, including a home run Friday.
And partner of that team in Chicago picked up their major league leading 18th win today. The White Sox.
I see. I like the way you set that up, because I immediately looked up and went to the Cubs score. They lost to the Braves 4-3.
Yeah, Chris Sale picked up his 6th victory. He's a perfect 6-0 on the season.
And the White Sox surprising everybody in the AL Central. Arenado, can he keep it fair? And it's in the bullpen. Nolan Arenado. He now leads the major leagues with 11 home runs. Takes Randall Delgado into the bullpen, and the Rockies lead at 6-3.
Looked like that ball actually straightened out as it got down that left field line. Initially off the bat, we were hoping it would hook into foul territory, but if anything, it might have got pushed back even farther into fair territory as it lands in the Diamondbacks bullpen.
And Randall Delgado will exit. Diamondbacks down 6-3. Back after this. Rockies 6-3. Hey fans, the Arizona Diamondbacks are proud to offer ticket discounts to military and first responders presented by Geico. All active, reserve, or retired military personnel and fire or police personnel can enjoy discounts all season long, including 50% off on Sundays, days like today. Get your tickets at dbacks.com/military. Thank you all for your service. Andrew Chafin pressed into service here, the left-hander. On from the Diamondback bullpen, the Sheriff, a 2.79 ERA, scoreless baseball in 10 of his last 11 appearances, which is remarkable considering Andrew is among the league leaders in inherited runners. But the bases are empty after the Arenado homer, and he'll work to Gerardo Parra, who hit a home run his last time up. Another long day for the D-back bullpen after Shelby Miller went only 3 2/3. Shelby pitched 3 hitless innings to open up the ball game. It looked very good. At one point retired 6 straight, was getting ground ball outs, had 3 strikeouts, and then the wheels just came off in the 4th for Shelby. And you could see him sort of fall off the mound like he was doing earlier this year. And the mechanics just kind of vanished, got away from him there. So they'll continue to work on that.
For Andrew Chafin, this is something we haven't been able to say about Diamondbacks relief pitchers, but he should be well rested. Hasn't pitched in 3 days.
And for this bullpen, that's like having a whole week off. They've been busy down there. Tyler Clippard on the right there. Zach Curtis. Zach Curtis is an interesting fit here, BB, because he gives them, and look, he just came up from A-ball, so let's not put him in the Hall of Fame just yet, but he gives them another real left-hand option back there. He has put up some big strikeout and save numbers in the minor leagues. Only at first, so taking himself. 2 outs in the 7th. Zach Curtis, some big save numbers at
Second baseman
Hillsborough and Kane County last couple of years. He's been at Visalia this year. Tough lefty.
And if you're racking up saves at any level, you can be guaranteed Zach Curtis has faced a lot of right-handed hitters as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. He was a starting pitcher in college at Middle Tennessee State, Zach Curtis, but he's been a closer as a professional since he was drafted 2 years ago. DJ LeMahieu 1 for 3.
One other little note from around the major leagues. The Washington Nationals swept the Cardinals this weekend, and Bryce Harper went hitless for the series.
How about that?
You think he's done?
Might be. He burned out. Dodgers finally stopped their losing streak. They avoided a sweep at the hands of the Padres. Clayton Kershaw did it again. LA beat San Diego 1-0. Kershaw, a 3-hit shutout. He struck out 14 without a walk. And guess who had the only RBI for LA in the ball game? Clayton Kershaw, RBI single.
Yeah, the last time that happened was 1984 when Fernando Valenzuela shut out the Phillies and drove in the only run of the ball game.
That snapped the Dodgers' 6-game losing streak. 2 hours and 7 minutes, BB. 1-2. Literally got him speechless with that one.
That was the length of the anthem yesterday.
Yeah, that was a long one yesterday. Which chorus? 2-2. Yeah, I turned around and thought that, okay, that was a nice job, but no, she's still going.
Plenty of notes left.
Apparently. Swing and a miss, but it rolls away from Herman, who's still got a chance here. And they complete the strikeout of LeMahieu. So Chafin gets 2 outs. We stretch here at Chase Field. The Diamondbacks trail the Rockies 6-3.
Rockies as we head to the bottom half of the 7th inning. Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 5 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
Now you've done some nice work there.
Well,
what do you got going?
Somebody did some nice work. We'd like to use this. There's a big old taco, 5 runs. We only need a couple more here.
That's a nice sign you got.
Well, crack staff, you know, they've been busy.
Ricky Weeks Jr. will hit for Andrew Chafin. Pitcher spot leads off. The Arizona 7th against Chad Bettis, who's still in there for the Rockies. Now with a 6-3 lead, there's strike 1. Ricky 4 for 18 on the year, 3 doubles. He's knocked in 3. That bat speed is still there, boy. He bangs it into left, a leadoff single. That's a good start. You watch him take batting practice. He is as impressive as anyone in this game.
Second baseman, Phil Gosselin.
You're right. Still very quick. Drives that bat through the hitting zone, jumps on that fastball, and just rips it into left field.
And here comes Walt Weiss. He's going to go get his starter, Chad Bettis, who once again pitched deep into the ball game for Colorado. He exits leading 6-3 back after this. At 6-3 bottom 7, and fans, beginning May 12th, Diamondbacks baseball will be televised in Spanish on Fox Sports Arizona Plus. That's presented by your Valley Honda dealers. And to find the channel listings and the 25-game schedule, Diamondbacks in Spanish, just visit foxsportsarizona.com. New pitcher for the Rockies, who got the win here on opening day. It's the right-hander Justin Miller, who worked 1 scoreless inning on Friday night, his 11th appearance of the year. Phil Gosselin is up there with Ricky Weeks Jr. at first, no outs. Phil single in the 3rd, he's 1 for 3. Diamondbacks have out-hit the Rockies 9-7, they trail at 6-3. Colorado has 2 home runs, a solo shot by Gerardo Parra, 2-run homer by Nolan Arenado. Rockies bullpen really getting busy now. Estevez, the right-hander, the veteran Boone Logan, the lefty. You saw Estevez last night. He worked 1 inning through 21 pitches. We have not seen Boone Logan in this series. 1-1 on Phil Gosselin. Out of play. Tyler Clippard continues throwing in the Diamondback bullpen. They've already hit for the pitcher, so Clippard, it appears, will get the 8th. Two and two. Rockies have not swept a series here at Chase Field since July of 2004. Two-two pitch. Base hit. And here comes Ricky Weeks Jr. He'll stop at third. And Gosling's in at second. Gerardo Parra, a couple of gold gloves out there on his mantle, but that one got right by him and rolled to the wall.
Maybe hit a little harder than Gerardo thought out there in left field. Got too close to the ball. Big hop just shot right by him all the way to the wall.
D-backs have the tying run at the plate. Nobody out in the 7th, and it's Brandon Drury who has singled and homered. They score that a single for Gosling. E7 the error on Parra. Along the right field line, drifting foul. Cargo won't get there. Mark Hickswell, there's Mark, our Golden Glover down the right field line. David Van Ness waits for his chance in left. Brandon's going to need a new bat here.
Yeah, I think he may have cracked it on that swing. To see how Miller would go after Drury in this situation with a base open at first. Now granted, that does represent the tying run, but Drury has been so red hot in this series. Everything he hit has been right on the button, but then you have to deal with Goldie.
Able to lay off that one. 1-2. Struck him out. One down in the 7th, and now Goldie gets his chance.
The visibility is just not real good right now. That's a pitch that Brandon Drury has been absolutely hammering. Going right through that.
Home plate and the mound covered by shadow. Weeks at third, Gosling at second, one down for Goldie, who was 0 for 3. He struck out twice. Ball 1. 2-0. Diamondbacks have 10 hits, 9 of them singles. Drury's homer in the first, the only extra base hit. Trying to break this thing open with a big hit and get back and tie it up. Get this offense rolling here. 3-0.
Mentioned a possible pitch around to Brandon Drury. I think we're seeing one here to Paul Goldschmidt because David Peralta hasn't really been swinging it as well as we're used to seeing, although David did have a single back in that 6th inning. Inning management.
They've had the lefty Boone Logan up in their bullpen. 3-0 to Goldie. He walked him. The bases are loaded with 1 out for Peralta. Another base on balls for the major league leader. And we'll see what Walt Weiss wants to do here.
It just wouldn't seem like a Rocky series without seeing Boone Logan.
And here comes Walt Weiss. He wants his left-hander. Diamondbacks down 3, have the bases loaded for the freight train. Back in a moment.
The D-backs win, you win at Papa John's. The day after every Diamondbacks win, you get 50% off your regular menu price online order at Papa John's. Enter promo code DBACKS50 at papajohns.com.
Diamondbacks have been waiting all afternoon for that big hit, and this would be the perfect moment. Bases loaded, 1 out, down 6-3 in the 7th. Ricky Weeks is at 3rd, Phil Gosselin at 2nd, and Paul Goldschmidt at 1st. David Peralta is the hitter. And the new pitcher for the Rockies, the veteran lefty Boone Logan, who has worked scoreless baseball in his last 7 appearances.
Logan, a hard-throwing lefty. He's punched out 11 and 9 1/3 so far this season. Has held opponents to a 147 batting average.
Peralta singled and scored his last time up. He's 1 for 3. 2 hits in the series. Bases loaded, 1 out. Ball 1. Two and 0. Ooh, gets the inside strike call there from Jordan Baker, and it's 2-1.
Never got to the inside corner.
Started this off with a pinch hit single. Phil Gosselin hit a single to left that went through Parra for an error. It was second and third. They pitched around Goldie for the walk. And with one out, here's Peralta. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Called strike 3.
Big strikeout there by Boone Logan. Pitch by pitch. He missed with a fastball up to start it. Missed with a fastball down. And this is a key pitch of the at bat right here. Should be 3-0. Instead, it's 2-1. Logan comes back with another breaking ball to get a foul. And then just dots the bottom of the zone with another fastball.
And now with the Yasmani Tomas coming up, Walt Weiss will go back to his bullpen. The right-hander on the way in, back after this. Estevez, the new pitcher for the Rockies. He'll work to Yasmani Tomas with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Estevez came at the ball game last night and got Tomas to pop up to second base. His 5th appearance of the year here. Diamondbacks down 3. They're loaded with 2 outs for Tomas. He is 2 for 3, a pair of singles today. Chops at the first one. It's 0-1. Lays off that time. A ball and a strike. Tomas singled in the second, grounded out in the 4th, had an RBI single his last time up back in the 6th.
And fortunately for Yasmani Tomas, the clouds have covered up the sun here. No real contrast between the bright sun on the batter's eye and the shadows around home plate and the mound.
Got to take advantage. Missed at 96, up 2 balls and a strike. Carlos Estevez called up from AAA Albuquerque April 22nd. Comes into a real mess here. 2-1 to Tomas. 2-2, 97.
Tomas with a little grimace there, shaking out his left hand. Really took a good rip at that high fastball, fouled it straight back. Looked like he was in a little bit of discomfort.
Might still be. Got him. 98-mile-an-hour fastball right by him. Diamondbacks load the bases. They get 2 strikeouts. They trail it 6-3. That's brought to you by Valley Toyota.
Yeah, the 3 games in Atlanta, our last visit to Turner Field.
Yeah, I like the ballpark. It's a pain in the neck to get in and out of.
Traffic is brutal there.
Yeah, it's not good. So they're building a new one up north around the perimeter. Tyler Clippard is the new Diamondback pitcher, and this is for Tyler Clippard his 500th career Major League appearance. It's a double switch for Chip Hale. Tomas, who struck out to end the 7th, comes out of the ball game. He's replaced in left field by Ricky Weeks Jr., who will bat 9th, and the pitcher spot now 5th in the Diamondback order. 500 career appearances for Tyler Clippard. Ben Paulson, who has an RBI single, 1 for 3, leads off the Colorado 8th. Shift is on. He bunts away from it, but it's foul.
.500 career appearances. He's had 2 disabled list stints, one in 05 and one in 07, and both times for the minimum amount of days on the list.
Hops it up. Second base there. He got 3 guys over there because of the shift, and Goldie has it for the first outs. Well, Tyler's one of these flexibility guys. You know, he does all the stretching and all that stuff. You know, this kind of stuff that we never do. Speak for yourself.
Rarely do. Think about doing it a lot.
Ponder.
Yeah. Yeah, one of his injuries was a strained calf. The other was I believe, a neck strain. Both times spent the minimum on the disabled list and was right back in action.
I do that watching TV.
No kidding.
Tony Walters, the catcher. Tyler Clippard's done it all. He started out as a long relief guy with the Yankees, worked his way toward the back end of the bullpen. He's pitched in the 8th inning. He's been the 9th inning guy. Started out last year as the closer in Oakland before he was traded to the Mets at the deadline last year. So he's the kind of guy you can plug in anywhere, which is one of the things Dave Stewart liked about Tyler Clippard. Gave him a 2-year deal for just over $12 million. Spent 7 years in Washington, where he was for a long time one of the best setup men in baseball, a 2-time All-Star. And he's done it pretty much with about a 90-91 fastball and a really good changeup.
Wicked changeup, which makes him equally effective against righties and lefties. Ideal late inning reliever.
Just turned 31 years old earlier this spring. Broken bat roller to Goldie. Clippers there, 2 down. And now we'll get a pinch hitter for Walt Weiss. Christian Adames will come in with 2 outs in the 8th inning.
Pinch hit for Carlos Estevez, number 18.
Adames a $154 on the year. That's 4 for 26, all singles.
Watch the bunt for a base hit here. Adames came out early today. He's working on bunting that ball both directions down the third base line, taking it with him to the first base side. And when you're mired in a slump, 154, you look for any way to get on base.
Drury about even with a bag at third. Goldie is back at first, and that's strike 1. Told you about Braden Shipley pitching so well for Reno today. There's more good news. Visalia won their 7th in a row for J.R. House. Roll Hyde. They beat the San Jose Giants 5-4. Adames shoots it the other way. Ricky Weeks Jr. out there. And Clippard works a 1-2-3 inning. Bottom 8 on the way.
Ortiz and Russ, no matter what happens the rest of the way, we're going to have to digest Shelby Miller's afternoon. Was there something that you saw in the 4th inning that would lead you to the conclusion that we all saw together?
To me, it looked like he was just trying to force the pitches in the zone more than he was in the first 3 innings.
All right, we'll break that down. Plus throw that to Bob Redling. We'll do that the minute this game ends. Diamondbacks Live. But first, Steve, we'll send it back to you.
All right, thanks, guys. We'll look forward to that after the ball game. Gila River game summary. Yeah, Shelby Miller, 3 hitless innings to start off the game. He retired at 1.6 in a row, but then just lost the mechanics in the 4th. That's when the Rockies got 3. Diamondbacks have tried to chip away, but every time they do, Colorado answers, and they lead at 6-3. Former D-back Chad Qualls on now to open up the bottom of the 8th against Chris Herman. Another good day for Chris, who got the start behind the plate today. 2 singles and an RBI. He's been more and more effective in a starting role. The bat has come around after a 1-for-20 start. Up the middle. Shift was on. There's Story, the shortstop, and he throws him out. So it should have been a 3-hit day for Chris Herman.
Yeah.
Chris Owings now.
They didn't get the result there, but you really have to like the at-bats that Chris Herman has put together over his last 3 or 4 starts. So he hit the ball with more authority. Seems to be more willing to hit deeper in the count. And that could potentially light a fire under Wellington Castillo, which, believe me, would be a real nice side effect from Chris Herman's recent success.
Well, Chip has promised to watch it with Welly and ease the workload on him, but it might be that Herman hits so much you got to get him in there more than 1 day a week. But there were times last year where Wellington was carrying the club offensively, and Chip really had no choice but to play him every day, and he kind of wore out in September. D-backs with 10 hits in the ball game. They've actually out-hit Colorado 10-7, but 9 of those hits have been singles. Which is ironic considering the Diamondbacks lead the major leagues in extra base hits. Arenado, look at this. Are you kidding? What a play. He is something else down there. Almost like an afterthought, he caught that ball.
And the throw, off balance, backing up, slings it over their sidearm. That ball very nearly trickled out the end of his glove, and right on the money to Ben Paulson at first.
It's amazing. Nick Ahmed 0 for 3. For me, he's in the top 5 in the major leagues, and nobody talks about him. Nolan Arenado. He's a top 5 player.
I think it's the curse of the National League West.
Might be.
You know, the games start late. A lot of people on the East Coast don't see the stars in the National League West, and they don't get the pub that they deserve.
Well, they talk about East Coast bias, and I can speak to that because I used to do that for a living. I mean, your shows would be over. Your night is done, but the game's out here still going on. It's not a bias thing, just that there's no opportunity to get the highlights in there for whatever show you're working on because the shows are often over unless it's one of the overnight things on at 2 a.m. But the way he hits for power and just sucks up everything down there at third, it's remarkable. Even sunflower seeds.
Even sunflower seeds. For somebody with the combination of skills that he has, the intensity that he plays the game with, he doesn't take anything for granted.
Well, there he is again. We'll go to the 9th inning. Diamondbacks trail the Rockies 6-3. At Chase Field, D-backs trying to avoid a sweep here at home to close out the homestand at the hand of the Rockies. And then it's out on the road. What's next brought to you by CenturyLink. We travel after the ball game tonight, off day tomorrow, and we start with 3 Tuesday in Miami at Marlins Park. Patrick Corbin and Justin Nicolino, a couple of lefties on Tuesday. Ruby De La Rosa and Jose Fernandez Wednesday. And 2 more lefties on Thursday, Robbie Ray and Adam Conley. So that's 3:30 starts, fans, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for the Diamondback Live pregame show on Fox Sports Arizona.
You know, I know who will be dialed into all 3 of those ball games, as well as every other game this season. A huge Diamondbacks fan in Green Valley, Arizona, Frances Carter, but all her friends call her Freddie. She's a huge Diamondbacks fan, watches every game on television.
Oh, we certainly appreciate that, Freddie. Thanks for supporting the D-backs. Enrique Burgos will work tonight. Charlie Blackmon has walked twice. He's 0 for 2. One of those walks, a bases loaded walk against Shelby Miller, which was Shelby's last batter of the ball game. He went only 3 2/3 today. So we've seen Barrett, Delgado, Chafin, Clippard, now Burgos from a very tired Diamondback bullpen. And that off day tomorrow is going to be big for all those guys back there.
The way this series has gone and the way the opening series went here at Chase Field, it's no surprise that the Rockies have made themselves right at home. 12 games at Coors Field this season, they've hit 17 home runs. 6 games here at Chase, they've hit 16.
2 today, Parra and Arenado.
That has got to stop.
And this is a team that limped in here with a 5-game losing streak. That's 2-1. But now on the verge of their first sweep in this ballpark since July of 2004. Diamondbacks in the home half of the 9th. They'll have Weeks, Gosselin, Drury, 9, 1 and 2. So you got the heavy hitters coming up, down 3, bottom 9. Back to Gosselin at second. And the remarkable thing, perhaps, about this 6-3 Rockies lead is that Trevor Story is 0 for 4.
Shortstop, Trevor
He has
Story.
grounded out, flied out, struck out twice.
I mean, for me, Trevor Story was a guy that, you know, like a lot of young players, he's a very aggressive swinger, chases a lot of pitches out of the zone, but when he got strikes, he always hit them hard, barreled them up. Today, he swung right through some hittable fastballs.
So you've had a couple of looks now at this young man. What do you think?
Well, I think he is what he is. You know, he's going to hit fastballs in the middle of the plate. He's going to hit breaking ball strikes, but he has huge holes in his swing that you can go right after. Breaking balls in the dirt, fastballs up and out over the plate. But if you make a mistake and miss your spot and catch too much of that strike zone, he'll make you pay.
Well, Nolan Arenado's 2-run homer in the 7th has given Arenado the major league home run lead, broke a tie with Trevor Story. They each had 10 coming into the ball game. Story 0 for 5, 2 down. Brings up Carlos Gonzalez, who was on base 4 times last night. He's been on base 3 times today, a walk and 2 singles. He scored twice. D-backs will put the shift on again for Cargo, who has twice today hit the ball to left field, something he almost never does.
A one-line drive and one roller that got out into shallow left field before Nick could run it down.
He just kind of bowled it out there. How about the batting gloves, BB, on Cargo? Those things are funkadelic, man. There's a lot going on there.
There's a lot going on there. I don't see any pink anywhere else on their uniform. Got his name on the wristbands.
You know what we're going to have to deal with when we go to Coors Field. And then, frankly, I'm thrilled he's not here today.
I know where you're going.
My arch enemy, Dinger, the front-running mascot. Because if we were at Coors Field right now, he'd be down there waving and doing his thing.
Sure.
Because Rockies are winning, so naturally you'd see Dinger. But if the score was reversed, you wouldn't be able to find him. Three and 1 on Cargo.
Well, if you notice, the shoes that Cargo is wearing seem to complement the batting gloves. It's a very nice accessorized look.
Oh, he's all coordinated. That's a strike. Full count, 3-2. The other way again. Ahmed drifting out there, and Burgos works a 1-2-3 inning. So here we go. Bottom 9. Weeks, Gosselin, and Drury due up. Thumb. Bottom 9. Diamondbacks trail the Rockies 6-3, and the new pitcher for Colorado. It's the closer, Jake McGee, who got his 5th save here last night. His 9th appearance of the year.
Lofty ERA, just over 7. Opponents hitting .344 against the left-handed closer, but he has converted 5 out of 6 save opportunities.
It worked to Ricky Weeks, Phil Gosselin, Brandon Drury, 9-1-2. So the Diamondbacks down 3 have their heavy hitters coming up here. Goldie and Peralta behind Drury. Trying to avoid a 3-game sweep at the hands of the Rockies before we head out to Miami to start a 9-game road trip. This is the end of a long stretch for the Diamondbacks. The final game of the stretch. And in which they played 20 games in a row without a day off, their longest stretch this year. So tomorrow will be a welcome day of rest, certainly for the bullpen. Here's Weeks, who singled his last time up. As a pinch hitter, stayed in the ball game, took over in left field. Dodgers won today behind Clayton Kershaw. They beat the Padres 1-0, snapped their losing streak. Giants have won as well. They beat the Mets in New York 6-1 behind Mad Bum. 0-2 on Weeks.
I showed you the numbers on McGee, and they have been skewed terribly by one bad outing. 2/3 of an inning against the Dodgers. He gave up 5 hits and 5 earned runs.
It's a one-man show down there.
Stop.
It's amazing.
That ball was hit like a bullet. Stumbled a little bit as he got up to his knee and just fired from there. Once again, a little sidearm sling across there from his knees, right on target.
And that gets by him. It's not just a base hit, it's down the line and probably a double. They're not great. You've done better, they're saying. It's okay.
Rough crowd.
Well, they're so used to it. Phil Gosselin. Phil in the leadoff spot today. 2 for 4, a pair of singles. And he's now at just over 300 on the year. Oh, 0-2.
I'll tell you, one guy that can really appreciate the defensive work of Nolan Arenado in this series is the guy standing right beside him down there in the third base coach's box. Brad Williams did that for years to opposing hitters.
In the air to right center. Blackman coming over to here. Cargo, and he's got it. 2 down. The Jimmy John's delivery of the ball game. Brandon Drury at it again. This was Drury in the first. And there it goes, his 5th of the year. Brandon Drury has homered in 4 of his last 5 games. And that is our Jimmy John's delivery of the game.
If there's one guy on this Diamondbacks roster that's not looking forward to the off day, it's Brandon Drury.
You're right.
He'll try to find a pickup game somewhere in Miami just to stay hot.
Boy, Brandon, you go back over his last 13 games, he's got 11 extra base hits and 10 RBIs, and he's hitting about 350 over that span. 2 for 4 today, a homer and a single. He has scored twice. You're right, so quiet and still up at the plate. Nothing really waggling or wiggling up there. And he hits that one hard. Another base hit for Brandon Drury. He's 3 for 5. And the Diamondbacks still breathing here with Goldie coming up. Goldie 0 for 3. He has struck out twice and walked. Need one more base runner. Try and get the tying run to the plate with 2 outs. Peralta on deck. In there for a strike. 0-1. Brandon Drury, since we're playing the Rockies, every winter goes and works out with Troy Tulowitzki, the former Rocky, at Tulo's facility in Vegas. Brandon and Tulo were there hitting for about 2 weeks, he said. And he's a big Tulo guy, as they call him, Drulowitzki, because he's kind of a Tulo clone. And a lot of times after Brandon will hit a home run, you know how they used to do the Tulo chant at Coors Field, you know, where they Tulo. The Diamondback players in the dugout, they'll go Drulo. They'll start a Drulo chant after Brandon gets a big hit. It's kind of like Tulo 2.0. They've been doing a lot of that lately. That's in for a strike, and it's 2-2. Full count. Trying to get that tying run to the plate with 2 outs in the ninth. Peralta would be next. Ball 4. So here comes Peralta. Well, hold on. He's going to go back to the dugout. They've got Segura on the bench, Castillo on the bench, and it looks like it's going to be Wellington Castillo to hit against the left-hander Jake McGee.
Saw Wellington go down to the bullpen quite a few innings ago to warm up some pitchers. We speculated that maybe he was getting ready to come into the game as a double switch, but here he is with 2 outs in the ninth, representing the tying run, taking a pinch hit at bat.
He has a pair of hits in the series, Wellington Castillo, a single and a double. He's at 286 on the year with 6 home runs. And a quick word now from the pitching coach, Steve Foster. Chip Hale trying to tie this ball game up with 1 swing. Beef Wellington on the menu. Tying run at the plate, 2 outs in the ninth. Swing and a miss, 0-1. Pitcher spot is next for the Diamondbacks should Castillo reach, and Gene Segura's in the on-deck circle. Walters wants to talk it over with McGee. McGee did throw 20 pitches last night. His 1 inning of work gave up 2 base hits, a single by Goldie, and a double by Wellington Castillo on a 3-2 pitch. That was in the 9th inning last night. Strike 2.
The Rockies could not be playing any deeper defensively in the outfield. You need to buy a ticket to play any deeper than those guys are.
One-two pitch. Got him. The Rockies come in here. They outscored the Diamondbacks in this 3-game series 20-5, and they get their first sweep at Chase Field since July of 2004.
Obviously not a good series. You got to do something to establish your dominance here at home. Got to get that offense going.
It's on a plane to Miami. A day off tomorrow, first of 3 against the Marlins Tuesday afternoon as we open a 9-game road trip. Diamondback Live post-game show all set to go. Russ Ortiz standing by with Todd Walsh. Todd.
All right, Steve, thank you very much. And in just a matter of moments, we'll start that post-game show. And Russ, I turn to you and reflect on Bob Brenly's keys to this game, win the game and turn that 4 or 5 hour flight into a short flight. That's not the case. This will be a much longer flight, but the key is there is an off day on Monday. We've seen this team respond on the road already before. They're going to have to, right?
Yeah, they're going to have to. I mean, something has to be done to find a way to get better, you know, and yeah, it's going to make the flight a lot longer. There's going to be a lot of things to think about, but yeah, it's never fun on a getaway day going across the country.
All right, we'll take a short break, and when we come back, we do have some things to talk about and break down, including the afternoon of one Shelby Miller. We'll have Bob and Russ look at that, plus we'll get some post-game reaction here from Diamondback skipper Chip Hale. Diamondbacks Live is around the corner. The Diamondbacks fall to the Rockies on this Sunday afternoon, 6-3 swept. The homestand is in the books. We'll break it down when we come back to Chase Field right after these messages.